We're here for the bill signing ceremony with Governor Brown of Senate Bill 32 and Assembly Bill 197, both focused on extending targets and bringing forward accountability, transparency, and equity to the climate change conversation in California.
Not only are we doubling down on building a new clean energy economy, we're also putting into law the principles of economic fairness and environmental justice within all of our climate goals.
The successful effort behind these two bills is the latest sign of a growing consensus that protecting the environment and improving public health are inextricably linked, and that maintaining that link is key to advancing future environmental actions.
I firstly wanted to shout out and commend Assemblymember Eduardo Garcia. AB 197 was instrumental. This bill, SB 32, would not pass without his leadership and Speaker Rendon leadership in the Assembly. The legislature works better when the two houses work together on combined policies, work on the same page. This was a success story.
I want to thank my colleagues who are here today and my colleagues throughout the Assembly who helped to make this day a reality. Matt DeBobney.
When you think about the bills that passed today, not only are they a continuation of AB 32, 10 years later now, they'll extend it to 2030 to make sure that our state's a leader in climate change and leading the efforts to make sure we're eradicating pollutants in our air, making sure that we're reducing the amount of children that are born into communities that are predisposed with asthma. When you think about the amount of communities that will benefit, the millions of residents throughout our state that will benefit from these policies. And when you think about what will our state look like in 10 years, more electric cars, less pollutants in our air, more of an ability to make sure all communities in our state have clean air, clean water, and clean environments.
Richard Bloom, Reggie Jones-Sawyer.
As an assembly member that represents disadvantaged communities and communities of color, this is really the first two bills that really address our concerns. The asthma that's caused in disadvantaged communities, the fact that we're not involved in a lot of the job, the fact that we don't even have input on a lot of the boards and commissions, we now have that. You don't know how exciting it is for me to have that opportunity to be able to bring our folk into the discussion of what is best we need as far as environmental justice and how we can improve our communities from this day forward.
Jimmy Gomez, who was exceptionally helpful in the waning moments in terms of whipping the final few votes.
These will really set the benchmark for how much we're going to reduce pollution in our state, greenhouse gases in our state, and at the same time, we're doing it in this area of Los Angeles to tell people that environmental policy is also community policy. It means that we're going to help every part of our state, poor and not, with the necessary resources that they need to combat climate change and make sure that they have clean air and clean water.
I especially want to thank Assemblymember Eduardo Garcia for his leadership over the course of the past year and for the partnership that he and Senator Pavley had on this legislation. Having such a strong final product, he eased the path towards getting these bills across the finish line.
Our climate change policies, I think today, and by the signing of these two bills, indicate a turning of the page as it relates to focusing on people. Advocating for Imperial Valley and Coachella Valley is my primary responsibility, a place where a child that is born today is already predetermined to have asthma. 6 of 10 children have asthma in our community. And so a district that has at sometimes as high as 28% unemployment, prone to economic challenges, that is my priority. A district that is at the core of much of the water conversations taking place in the state as it relates to management, reallocation of Colorado River, that is a priority of ours. And when we look at those issues, we're looking at people and the public health and well-being of their lives. And so that's why I'm engaged in these conversations. And so for me, it is extremely important that we focus specifically on people of color, communities that are environmentally set back, that have a direct link to the economic challenges, the public health of children, and of course, the concerns that we all have as it relates to water in the state.
People of modest means who live in the Central Valley, who live in Riverside, San Bernardino, Imperial County. They're the ones that eat the dirtiest air. And we're not going to clean up that air until we reduce pollutants, and the way this bill is purporting to do and will do. And we have to continue doing that. So when you talk about the air, everybody's breathing the air. And young children, many of whom are getting asthma, older people with respiratory disease, they're the victims. And if we don't stop climate change, it's not going to be 110 in Imperial County, it's going to be 130, 135, not for a few days or a few weeks, but for months on end. It can become unlivable. Now, it's not going to happen perhaps during your term, but we're setting in motion either efforts to stop that or to do nothing and let it happen. And the great problem with these big issues is that you wait too long because you can't see it, it's too late to do anything about it. So what we're doing here is far-sighted as well as far-reaching.